Like scene between Vex and Percy getting back into your head.
Ain't no way.
A little bit.
The fuck did I miss? I want
Vox
to see
Machina.
Vox Machina watch
Season
party.
We're in a hot tub because it's episode 7. We're doing hot tub episode, I guess. I don't know. Hot tub with pixels, pixel tub. We're here. We're back with another episode, and this time it's not from our usual subreddits. We actually have found stuff from Today I Effed Up because somebody had to go and get hurt, so she had her Today I Effed Up, and it'll probably be talked about today. But anyway, because we got me, we got Squishy. This time we got HP, beautiful woman. I will have some links in the description that you guys are going to want to check out. We dragged Papa this time. That's not a nickname, that's his actual name. I'm sorry. That's all you guys get. Cope. And then we have Shadow again. Yeah. Again, he gets dragged, victimized.
I'm never free. They bully me.
Never free.
No, you're stuck in a cage forever.
You made a fucking contract with the devil, bitch.
You cope.
I'm visiting the hostage
I'm
for
not
once.
complaining too much. It seems kind of fun.
We're in a hot tub. All right, so we can't complain. And we actually found some really weird stories from Today I Effed Up.
Agreed.
And the first one I got for y'all is Today I Effed Up by eating a cinnamon roll. This happened about an hour ago, so I'm still awaiting the consequences. My wife got up very early this morning to make cinnamon rolls for a friend who was visiting us and left this morning. There were leftovers, and she told me that they were in the kitchen if I wanted some when I got up. After waking up, I went to the kitchen and grabbed a roll, tossed it in the toaster oven to rewarm it. Then I opened the fridge to grab the cream cheese icing she made. The last time she did, she mentioned the recipe was a little too cream cheesy, so she tried to make the recipe different this time. There it was, in a glass measuring cup on the top shelf. At this point, it was cold and hard to spread, so I popped out a few tablespoons, put it on my now hot roll, let it soften, spread it around. I sat down at my work computer while checking emails and messages as I ate. I noticed the icing wasn't particularly sweet, but it also didn't taste like cheese at all. It was also a bit smoky. Or maybe that was the cinnamon roll. Either way, I was hungry, and I finished my roll and my first morning meeting. Curious about the icing, I asked my wife if she used the recipe my sister had sent us yesterday. She said she had. I noted it was a bit smoky and not very sweet. She was confused. I mentioned where I pulled the frosting from, and she cackled. That's not icing. That's bacon grease. So I responded in kind, why does it look like icing, and where is the icing? Apparently, the icing was on the counter in the mixing bowl. As I write this, my stomach is occasionally gurgling like a thunderstorm on the horizon, and my wife is shaming me to her sisters and mine and anyone else she can get a hold of. I expect in a few hours, greased lightning will be shooting from my anus, and my wife will be laughing outside the door. I die steadfast in my belief that bacon grease looks just like icing, and honestly didn't taste half bad on the cinnamon roll. TLDR, I accidentally put several tablespoons of bacon grease on my cinnamon roll instead of cream cheese icing and ate the whole thing.
Motherfucker said several.
You poor
I fucking
asshole.
love that.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but he
God.
learned. He's got experience
His
now.
ass
He's
is
the one and
going
only
to
person who can tell
hurt.
you bacon grease is good on a cinnamon roll. You know what? That's a badge.
Listen, we
That's a
already wrap
badge.
cinnamon rolls in bacon and then, like, throw them in the oven and shit. So, like, how is this really any different?
Exactly.
The grease is not good for your stomach.
I would like to question, why did the
The
wife
shit
put
that
it in
we
the
eat
fridge? I
nowadays.
understand that you don't, like, dump grease down the sink. I understand you have to take that outside.
It helps it solidify faster, so that way you can get rid of it faster.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you wanna know how I get rid of grease? I go in the backyard and dump it
You
in the
put it on
dirt.
the sink. Oh.
No, I
Oh,
walk
no, no,
outside with a
that's
hot
not-
pan and go, no more grease!
Bye.
Mother can
A
have
lot
it.
Fair
of people reuse grease as well, don't they? Like a lot of people will just use the grease again.
A lot of people will reuse grease depending on
Yeah.
what they're making.
The,
Yeah.
Fresh oil every time.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. It happens.
Fresh
I don't know
oil
what you want
every
me to tell you.
time.
You know,
Neither.
whenever
No.
McDonald's finishes frying that leftover oil, I just always ask that they give me a cup.
What?
Saves
What?
the soul.
No.
I hope you're
Are you
kidding.
okay?
Yes, I am kidding. That would be outrageous.
I
will be
would, I
dead.
would, I would
mean,
really
it's
like
you,
to hope
I'd
so.
believe it.
The fuck you
It's you,
mean?
I
It's
believe it.
me. It's me. I believe that story.
I'd believe it.
You're dropped just
All
enough
I
for
know
that,
is that
just to
man
make
is
it
not going to be able to
believable.
trust a single fart for the next day or two.
No.
No.
He's still gonna try it.
I feel like he's going to do
Yeah.
it again.
He seems-
He's
he
going to
seems
want
bold enough.
bacon grease in it now. He's conditioned.
He is.
Oh, his
He's
poor
gonna say
stomach.
it to a friend, dare him, and then they're both gonna take it again.
Oh God. All right, Pookie.
Jesus. Good luck. Good luck.
R.I.P. your toilet.
R.I.P. your ass.
His ass is not gonna be intact.
R.I.P. your ass. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be very happy by the end of that. Anyways.
He'll be hungry again.
Alright. So. Since we have 2 new people, you guys get to choose between 1 and 3 on what story that I read. I do this every time.
Okay.
3?
Yes.
I say 3.
1, 2, or 3.
I think we're saying 3.
3.
Alright. So, this one is actually my longest one that I have.
Oh,
From the
goody.
Same Reddit. So, this is today I fucked up by proposing to my girlfriend in the wrong way.
How is that wrong word?
So, my
another wedding, maybe?
girlfriend, I don't know. My girlfriend, 20 female, and I, 21 male, have been together since I was 15 and she was 14. We have an excellent relationship. We've only had about 4 arguments in 6 years, and none of them were serious. I have no doubt she is the woman of my life. Here's how the problem started. For some years, I've seen many women complaining about how frustrating it is to be a girlfriend for a long time. For example, some say, I've been with the same man for 9 years, and I'm still just a girlfriend. And how uncomfortable they feel in that situation. I understand how bad that can be, and I wanted my girlfriend to know that I take our relationship seriously. At the same time, I'm far from being financially stable enough to get married. So my solution was this. I would propose now, but we would get married in about 5 years. That way, we could tell people we're engaged, and she wouldn't have to be a girlfriend for 11 years before becoming a fiance. We're on vacation now, and yesterday I proposed to her. She was extremely happy, cried a lot, and I was happy and cried too. But when we got back to the hotel, she asked, sorry, I lost my fucking place. Okay, she asked me how I wanted the wedding to be. I told her, I don't think it's worth planning a wedding now since we're only getting married in about 5 years. She instantly got sad and went to the bathroom for a few minutes. I apologized to her, but she was not talking to me. When she's extremely sad, she usually stays completely silent. After some time, she said she wanted to talk about it on Friday, that it was okay, and she wanted to enjoy the rest of our vacation. It's clearly not okay. I shouldn't have done this. I thought she would be happy and understand my point of view, which we still haven't talked about it yet because I'm respecting her space. But now I think I tried to fix a problem that didn't exist and ended up hurting her. Looking back, she never complained about being a girlfriend for 6 years. I don't know why I thought this was necessary. I want your thoughts before I read the update.
I think there should
So-
have been a conversation. That's the only thing I should really say about it. There should have been a conversation.
So ultimately, it's like it's coming down to her being upset because of how long it's taking for them to actually get married to each other.
Well, so that initially wasn't the problem. She never complained about that. It was him hearing other girlfriends from other people
Mm-hmm.
saying that, so he assumed that's what she was thinking.
Yeah, that really
But
just
is
like
that
comes
what the
down to
problem
talking
is
to your
now?
partner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where
Communication
I'm-
is key.
I was gonna say that's where I'm like confused with everything. It's like 'cause it seems I don't know. This one's
Do you
I have no
want me
idea
to
on
read
this
the update?
Please, I hope it gives
Yes.
clarity.
Alright, so update. I followed the advice from the comments, and it was really just a communication problem. Earlier today, we talked about it. I
Mhm.
explained what my idea was and showed her this post. She laughed about it and said that doing this suits my character. She said she wouldn't mind being a girlfriend for 10 years because we're still young and it didn't matter to her. She mentioned that I could have explained my idea to her before proposing, but in the end it was fine, and she said it was cute that I thought about doing this. I apologized a million times, and we decided together that I'll propose to her again in a few years, and that the wedding will happen a year after the proposal, like a normal couple. She'll wear the ring I gave her
Wink.
because she liked it, and if someone asked about us and our relationship, we'll say that we're getting married soon. Now, addressing some things I've seen in the comments, it is important to me that we have a wedding ceremony, but we are definitely going to live in the same house before our wedding. This year, I stabilized myself in a situation where I believe the best way to explain to an American is you're making $120K a year, but instead of living in New York City, you live in a medium-sized city where the cost of an excellent life is about $5K a month. So we're definitely moving in together early next year, but our wedding will have to wait a little longer. Some people thought I proposed but didn't want to get married, and that's my fault for communicating poorly. I do want to get married. I just don't think it's possible right now. We both would rather move in together before having our wedding. We talked about it. Another clarification is that for me, getting married means having the wedding, not moving in together. She thought it meant we wouldn't move in for another 5 years, which wasn't the case. Again, my fault for not explaining it well. TLDR, I asked my girlfriend to marry me, but I only wanted to get married in 5 years, and I ended up hurting her feelings.
Always talk to your partner,
that's just a
especially if y'all are serious.
communication.
Marriage talks are so important.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Like y'all gotta be on the same page of that. I think like I told Rosie out the gate. I mean, look, it planned out perfectly. That he was not allowed to propose until we were together for a year, and we already had to be living together, obviously, because I'm not gonna marry you if our household styles don't mesh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Me and
kind
my
of
partner
like,
had the same talk.
yeah. I mean, another thing is like, I personally thought Mason was gonna propose to me a couple like years down the line, but in this case of before we moved in together, my dad wanted us to get married before we moved in together. He wanted us to be married before we moved in together. But
See, I don't
here's the
understand
thing.
that.
I'm not gonna marry someone if our lifestyles don't mesh, just like you said. I'm not gonna do that unless I know what I'm getting into.
Mhm.
I say I feel
And
like
our
living
lifestyles
together is
do
way
mesh,
more important than like the marriage. Because it could
Yeah.
really come down to what if you guys get married and then you move in together and then it's like you're mad at how he folds his socks. Test run that shit. Move in together first.
That's what I'm saying. But
Honestly.
here's the funny part. My dad said that, but then the moment that Mason and I went to go hang out with a friend that lived close by because she wanted to meet Mason. My grandfather asked him, "So, what are you gonna do if you move in with your with your fiance and you guys still aren't married?" And he said, "It's just a piece of paper."
I mean,
That too.
I mean,
not wrong.
Hmm.
I mean, like, me and my partner
He's
always
not,
speak
but
Basic piece of
it's
paper.
more. It's more of the fact
Yeah.
that he told me before I even moved in with Mason that I had to get married. But the moment that himself got brought up into the conversation, he was like, "Oh, it's just a piece of paper. I don't give a fuck."
don't know how that works. I'm like,
It's contradictory. It's stupid. But communication, that's a big thing.
Talk to your
Yeah, me
goddamn
and-
partner about your stuff. Or else you end up on
Do
Reddit.
it. Me and my partner, like, what we
Yeah, or
said
else you end
is,
up on
like,
Reddit and you end up on a podcast
oh my
like
god.
this.
Yeah, what me and my partner said was like, because like I definitely have sensory issues, like real big sensory issues, and like I need a lot of alone time. So we said that we're gonna have our own setup but in different rooms, and then maybe some nights we want to sleep in a different area. That's what we're gonna do. Because it doesn't mean like we don't still love each other. It's just we like our space. We're both very
Yeah.
space oriented.
See, and communication fixes problems.
Exactly.
end up on
Oh, shit,
Reddit.
1 minute.
Right. The one
you mind if we
thing
take
that
1
doesn't
minute?
fix problems.
Because he's calling me right now.
What? She's getting a phone call.
I'm sorry, he's calling
I
me.
dropped my nicotine.
Don't worry, I
Yeah,
can
he
pause
probably
it.
wants to say goodnight because he has work.
See, have communication, and then you don't end up on Reddit, and then your partner will call you to say that they love you and good night, and you don't end up on Reddit.
Hi, I'm plugging in my nicotine. 'cause
You're plugging in something, Pookie.
How the fuck were we supposed
Anyway,
to do Reddit?
guys, we're back from our commercial break. You didn't know that there was one. It was just a weird clip to you. Don't worry about what we were talking about, though. You'll find out later. You're not gonna find out.
None of that actually got none of that actually got recorded,
No.
did it? I just realized
No, I
that.
pa-
completely forgot.
My dad watches this
we've been
podcast.
I forgot that we were waiting that entire time because HP was back and we were just talking.
I was not going to unpause on that tangent. We have too many people who have started watching this podcast now. I can't take that risk. They legally know me.
That would have been,
It's not an option. It's not an
that would
option.
have been fucking great.
Anyway, Reddit, am I right, guys? Woo! Let's go back to today I effed up by trying to bang a goth baddie, and my wife found out.
What the fuck?
It seems fitting. They'll never know. It's fine. My 31.
Well, then my next one will be fitting.
Oh God. So OP is a 31 male and his wife is a 32 female. They're in a healthy and happy relationship. That said, we've been together since high school and we both feel like we missed out a little by being each other's only sexual experiences. We've talked about this at length and decided a few years ago that we are okay with having a few hall passes in our relationship since we very much intend to stay together the rest of our lives and we don't want any resentment over missed possibilities. Plus, it's pretty rare that we could even find such an opportunity as it's a little hard to find hookups when you are in a confirmed marriage and committed marriage and don't go out much. We even gave each other advance approval in case situations arises, so long as we're safe about it and tell each other immediately afterward. We've both used one HP. Oh, hall pass. Sorry, that didn't click in my head. Each was someone we knew well enough but would never see again, and no issues came with it. In fact, it only made us more secure in our relationship and how much we genuinely appreciate being with each other. Recently, I've had to travel to London for work. I normally don't travel for work, so I decided to make a trip out of it and spend a few extra days on my own in the city after the project was done. My wife couldn't join because she didn't have any vacation time left, but was very supportive of me taking time to explore since I've never been to London and she has. Being cheap and pretty outgoing guy, when I'm so inclined, I decided to stay in a hostel. I was interested in meeting other travelers since I didn't know anyone in the city and love being sociable with new people. I chatted with several other people staying there, in particular, a very attractive French girl, mid-20s, who dressed super goth. For context, I love the goth girl look. I've been sucked into the goth girl propaganda online, much to the annoyance of my wife. It isn't her style, but she has been nice enough to cater to me by putting on a sexy goth outfit on occasion, since she knows it's a huge fantasy of mine. Still, I pester her constantly to be more goth because I enjoy it so much. Anyway, I ended up spending a little bit of time with the goth French baddie. We both went to the hostel's happy hour event and hit it off there. I found out that she was recently single and was in London for an art show. It turned out we were both into emo music. We talked about our favorite bands, and I thought that she was acting a bit flirty towards me, but I didn't think too much of it until I later found myself sharing a sink with her in the hostel bathroom. The hostel was co-ed, so each floor had a small shared bathroom with a communal sink, and the door was meant to be kept open, but which people frequently closed for the sake of having more privacy than just a stall to shower in. So I'm brushing my teeth while chatting up the real version of Shadowheart, who, mind you, is wearing an extremely low-cut top.
Nice.
When she suddenly closes the bathroom door behind us. In my mind, my wildest fantasies are about to come true. And she asks, "Are you interested in learning about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?" She had me cornered for 10 minutes trying to talk me into salvation when I grew increasingly despondent and immensely disappointed with the whiplash of going from what could have been one of the crowning moments of my life to pure and utter dejection. When I told my wife this story, she laughed for a solid hour, and she said it was karma for annoying her about wanting a goth girlfriend. TLDR, life dream was to bang a hot goth girl, thought I was getting the opportunity, but got cock-blocked by Jesus Christ. God is real, and he hates me.
Brother.
That's
I
amazing.
fucking love that.
You can't make
This
this shit
closer.
up.
Are you interested in
Kind of
talking about our
divine
Lord and Savior
interception is
Jesus
that?
Christ?
I just want to know,
Baloney.
like, I'm thinking, like, hot goth
That had
mommy,
to have been
low-cut
her
top,
memeing on him.
probably beautiful bedoingers for the
It
sake
had
of...
to have
The
been
moment-
memeing on him.
I hope she
moment
leaned
she
into
saw
it.
him, she went from her old ways to facing Jesus Christ.
It's just like...
Would you like
That, or
talk
she
about our
just
Lord and Savior
really
Jesus
did
Christ?
not want
I'm sorry,
him.
just like fully imagine, like, we're in a bathroom, right? We're so seemingly flirting with each other, and I lean over to you seductively. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Like,
Pookie, take off your shirt and we'll talk about it.
I really feel like the church topic is more fitting for what the commercial break was about that you'll never know about, but we know.
Oh god.
But anyway, if a goth girl comes to you, she might just be there to tell you about Jesus.
She might be
she
Just
might be
remember-
the one
But
that
babies.
talks to you about Jesus, but is actually
But babies.
Satanist.
You know, she
But
should be a
babies.
pastor because I would
Hashtag
suddenly
but
be a
babies.
God-driven freak.
Jesus.
Alright, are you guys ready?
I fucking know forever be. Oh no, I don't like
so-
this.
I don't
You're
know what the fuck to
laughing.
expect from you.
So,
How does work here?
today I fucked up. How would I censor that word?
Which word? Spell it.
MASTURBATING.
diddling.
Master Fisherman.
Diddling? Okay. Today I fucked up by diddling in front of the nurses in the hospital while waking up from an anesthetic.
No, please. Actually, I don't want to call it that.
No.
Hold on. I don't want to call it that.
Alrighty, here we go.
Diddling with the shit that's going on with Diddy right now. Okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should new word. Yeah, Master Fisherman.
The nurse caught
They'll
with the
figure it
baby
out.
oil. I
Master
had to make a run for it.
So today I fucked up by Master. No, you know what?
Slapping the baloney.
Is this a female or male?
I will say this. This is female.
Oh, they were ding dong ditching. They rang the devil's doorbell. They flicked the bean. They pressed the button. I don't know. There's so many different innuendos.
I liked the flick the bean one. So today I fucked up by flicking the bean in front of my nurses in the hospital while waking up from an anesthetic. Okay, I am definitely going to delete this later. I'm posting this under my Anon account for a reason. I'm just hoping that maybe there are some other people here who have done something similar, or nurses that can tell me worse stories from their work to make me feel better about myself. Or at least maybe a little mockery will help turn this from a humiliating story to a funny one. So today, I had an egg retrieval operation in the hospital as part of an egg donation. This is a surgical procedure in which a needle is inserted into the it's educational, I could say the word, vaginal wall to the ovary, collecting mature eggs to be fertilized. While normally you only have one, injections are administered for about 2 weeks beforehand to increase the numbers of matured eggs in one cycle. In my case, there are about 25 eggs. The retrieval is done under anesthetic, which I'm going to blame for all my poor decisions. Everything was going swimmingly until I woke up. For about 10 minutes, I was totally fine. Then I felt like absolute shit. I've done this once before, and it didn't hurt this bad. It felt like period pain. If you were having 25 particularly bad periods all at once. These cramps were so bad, one of the first things I did once it hit was roll over and throw up. Though that could have actually been the nausea from the anesthetic, I'm not sure. There was an IV in my left arm, so I didn't want to curl up on my left on top of it. So I tried to curl up on my right side, but that left my left arm in a very uncomfortable position too. So I opted to roll into a fetal position while lying on my back, and that is with my knees lifted in the air against my chest and my calves and feet hovering parallel to the bed. This did help with the pain a little. What I realized later when recreating this position at home, it is very difficult to get the blanket to actually cover your backside entirely like this, and the hospital blankets were not that big. So I'm reasonably sure that in trying to alleviate my pain, I was also displaying my ass and genitals to all the attending staff, 3 nurses, and possibly others in the recovery room as well. One of the nurses went to fetch some kind of opioid to help with the pain. While that was happening, I was acutely aware of the intense ache in my vulva and pelvis. For the men in the subreddit who are not in the known, flicking the bean helps with period pain. I was reasonably sure that the blanket was covering me entirely and nobody would know. So in my delirious state, I decided to rub the offending anatomy to try to reduce the pain. One of the nurses closed the curtain surrounding me, and he told me he was going to get me a second blanket for warmth. When he returned with it and placed it a little over my body, covering my lower body and legs, I didn't really put what this meant together until later. So to their credit, they took it very well and didn't actually say anything. It is possible they didn't see it, but reflecting on the reactions and the chain of events in clear-eyed hindsight, I'm pretty sure they did. To be fair, if any of them were present for my surgical procedure, they would have seen me while I was unconscious as well. But it is a different thing when I'm awake and, well, you know. Anyway, now I'm recovering in bed at home. The pain has went away, but the embarrassment has only increased. At least I humiliated myself for a good cause, and I probably never see those people again. TLDR, was in pain and woozy after an operation in the hospital, may or may not have flicked the bean in front of my nurse.
That's wild.
Jesus. That's
Damn.
so fucking crazy.
Honestly, not the worst thing
But
that guy's
to
probably
be-
seen.
To
No,
be
that's-
fair,
that's
she's
so
not
much better.
wrong. It does help alleviate some pain.
No, that's
Also,
not
when
what
you're
I'm
under
saying, because
But
anesthesia,
you
if
though-
gotta
you're
think
under
about how what you
anesthetic-
sound like.
The offending
Hmm?
anatomy.
Oh, dear.
But I agree with Pop that that's not the worst thing that
No,
that
it's
nurse
not.
has seen by far, and he probably also understands why you were doing so.
That's
if you
what I was gonna
did
Because
say.
this,
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on my period, I get.
I'm not gonna make a comment on it. I'm simply just gonna state doctors see worse when you're under anesthesia, because I have also seen worse when people are under anesthesia. I went to look
To
at
be
my
fair,
grandpa
I've
when he
done
was recovering
worse.
from a stroke, and he was all kinds of loopy. I saw things that I didn't want to see, but he was drugged out of his mind and had no common sense. So,
Remember when I had mono
yep,
and I had the morphine in my system
yep,
and the pain and the muscle relaxer?
yep.
After I left that call and talked to my grandparents, I was sweating. And I just with the door open.
That's
with
fair.
both doctors in the room. With Mason in the room. With Haley in the room.
Yeah.
With no shirt on underneath. No bra either. Just
Anesthesia just does things to you, though. I think the weirdest thing I've
It
done
does.
during anesthesia is one, I told my dentist, I was getting my wisdom teeth pulled, okay? I told him he was hot, that he had the lightest blue eyes. I told him that my uncle was an asshole. I vividly remember this before passing out, as I looked up at him and I went, "You're really pretty. You're so nice. You're not like my uncle at all. My uncle's an asshole." And then my mom slapped me, saying, "Watch your mouth. You're drugged." And I went, "But Mom, he's so nice. And our uncle's an asshole." And then I fell asleep. And apparently when I woke up, my cousin was in the room with me. And my mom and my aunt had gone outside to talk about something. I don't know, but they weren't in the room. I don't remember this. She had to Snapchat me this later. I don't know what I meant to this day, kind of. I woke up and I looked at her and I went, "Shh, they can't know," and fell back asleep.
Oh.
God. That's menacing. They can know.
And the only conscious thing I remember telling my mother when I came back was I had Heelys, okay, when I got my wisdom teeth removed. Now, granted, I took the wheels out of the shoe before we went into the doctor's office. They were in my backpack. And I thought it'd be really funny in that moment of anesthetics to look at my mother and go, "I brought my Heelys today, Mom." And the panic that ensued until she saw me walking was really bad.
Jesus.
Okay. Do you want to do your last one, Pookie?
I guess. Drugs are weird. I don't blame the girl. You're probably traumatized for life. Maybe get a new doctor, but I promise you he's seen worse. He's probably seen men do it, and I think that's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be like me.
yeah.
I was a CNA. I had to take care of old people, and I had to clean an uncircumcised penis.
Hard pass. Anyway,
It's nasty. it's fucking it's grody.
I'll take your word for
I
that
will mute
one.
you. I will mute you so fast.
Today I effed up.
Man, Gilbert.
Oh
Oh man,
god.
Gilbert, you brought me so much pain.
It's alright. Well, we'll deter from the horrid bodily anatomy and what did she call it?
The offending,
Offending anatomy.
Oh.
offending anatomy.
Yeah, we'll deter from that, and instead, y'all remember, before I preface with anything, do you guys remember those math problems in school where it's like, he buys 53 watermelons and 60 bananas.
Yeah.
Oh god.
How many are left? You know how, like, we just never thought that was, like, a thing, right? People don't do that in real life. If you get a watermelon, you get a singular watermelon. Maybe two if you have a party. But today I effed up by accidentally buying 109 pounds of grapes, and things just went downhill from there. The store I shopped at last week had a special on grapes, $2 a box. But no way to weigh the boxes. They have some kind of scale that hangs from 3 chains, and the boxes didn't fit in them. So I got 4 boxes of grapes, large boxes. I wanted to make them a batch of wine. For $8, that was a steal. The first thing I did after leaving the store was get the shopping cart stuck in a rut in the parking lot because I couldn't pull it back out. A stranger helped me. Then I got home and was able to weigh them. A 5-gallon batch of wine uses about 50 to 80 pounds of grapes. I had 109 pounds. Oops. So I hand-pressed the grapes through a rack meant for cooling cookies. 3 hours later, I have enough mash to fill my 5-gallon fermentation bucket, and there's still more than half the grapes in my fridge. I decided to embrace the FU. I don't know what that means, I think. I decided to embrace the FU and made jam with the ones in the cases. I was at least happy to have a reason that I now know, reason to use that no to low sugar, pestin? English? So, it's something. PECTIN. Pectin.
PECTIN.
Pectin? Oh god.
Pectin. I think it's pectin.
Anyway, he put a low sugar thingy with his grapes. 4 hours later, I have 22 pints of jam, 2 quarts that didn't fit in the canner. I just tossed them in the fridge with screw-on lids, but the rest of them set for the pantry. But none of it actually gelled. The directions said it might take a few hours or overnight to get thick, but nope. The whatever he added in it must have been too old, 2018. I'm gonna have to unseal the jars and recook it with sugar and can it all again. And I still got like 30 pounds of grapes in the fridge. So I had decided to turn my canner into fermentation bucket number 2 and make 5 extra gallons of wine, with the brilliant idea that I can use some of the ungelled jars of grapes to top it off, since I'll be a little short. And that will save me some reprocessing time with the jam. 4 more hours of hand smashing grapes and that bucket's full, or almost. I do have to top it off with the liquid non-jam jam. I'll figure out how to start with 2 quarts from the fridge that never got sealed. I grabbed them from the basement. WTF, they aren't liquid, they're full on jelly now. The fuckers gelled up in the fridge, so now I realize I can't use them, and I can't use any of the others that are still liquid at room temp because I can't have my wine gelling up if I refrigerate it. Somewhere in there, I realized the store gave me a senior discount for being over 60, which I didn't ask for, and it's not a store with a loyalty card where they just have my birthday on file. The cashier was just like, yeah, this one's obviously over 60, don't need to card her. I've been 60 for like 2 weeks. That was especially demoralizing because I had just been trying on dresses from my closet to see if they'd still fit for an event that I'm going to this Wednesday, and was feeling smug because they did fit, and I was thinking I look good in them, was specifically thinking I don't look anywhere near 60. Pfft, was wrong about that. I look old. I got a call from the event host today asking where I was. I wrote the date down wrong. The event was yesterday. I missed it. And I need to buy either more grapes or more juice to finish the second bucket of wine. TLDR, accidentally bought 50 plus pounds more grapes than I needed. Everything I did try to use them on backfire. Now I need more grapes to save the ones I used. My ego ended up even more crushed than the grapes after given the unsolicited old lady discount.
I don't know why she didn't start off with
Somebody
making
come
like
get-
another like thing of wine instead of like if you have that much grapes, you should have just made 2 things of wine.
How big are the
Somebody needs
boxes?
to come get
Grapes
their
don't weigh
grandma.
that much. I don't know where this is.
You know.
There's no way this is in America because if I go to Walmart,
Motherfuckers
Yeah.
went to
I get a
Costco.
bag of
Just
grapes,
go
like a
honestly,
Ziploc baggie of grapes.
It's
Yeah,
She
no,
really
she
should have
wanted
just
to
looked for an
Costco.
employee
Fucking
to
bitch.
find out how the fuck to
Big,
measure
like,
the weight of those
crates.
boxes, because that's fucked up.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the main
Because you can
thing.
get crates of like fruits. So she's probably gone and got like crates for God knows reason.
At least she was gonna make wine, so she did need a lot of grapes. But like, still,
True.
there's a lot of grapes.
Ended up getting 4 boxes.
That's
a
the
lot
people
of
that we
grapes.
fear in math stories. I was scared of you in 3rd grade. You worry me.
We didn't think you were real. Our math teachers were trying to give us a warning.
If Granny buys
They are out there.
109 pounds of grapes, how many grapes will she take
Well,
to
like, also,
make 2 gallons of fucking
out of all of
wine?
this, she doesn't sound upset. It's not like, oh, I wasted food. She just has to buy more. She's accepted the fact of, I will just buy more and we'll have a lot of wine. What she's heard about
Bro, no,
is her age. That's the only thing that she's genuinely
she's-
upset about.
I guess
I
that's
was gonna say
positive
she's embracing
attitude, I
her old
guess.
age. Like
She
she's
doesn't want
upset
to.
that somebody like commented on it, but she's just getting up to old people shenanigans at this point. That's why she's not upset about it. It's quite literally like, oh well, it didn't work out, but I got time to figure out why and try something different. So
Also,
screw
can we just say that, like,
Yeah, they're not.
grandmas on Reddit need to be normalized more. I want more grannies on Reddit telling me their life because they
Yes.
probably have some of the juiciest stories and they no longer care about being polite about it.
That is true. We need more.
Get your grandmas on Reddit. Right now. Get them on Reddit.
Mhm.
Do it.
Exactly.
Oh
Reddit
god,
would
no,
give
that's a
my
lot
grandmother
of that's a
a
lot of
heart
translating.
attack.
It's alright, because you know what?
Oh my
We don't have to
God,
translate
yeah.
when Squishy has one more story of whatever chaos hole we've gone down.
Good thing this
I
one's
don't
short.
know where we're at tonight.
Where are we
At
and
this
how did we
point,
get
we've
here?
gone so many topics. Yeah, no, this is a
Alright.
rabbit hole.
So, this one is today I fucked up by unknowingly offending my game master.
I thought you said game master. I'm sorry.
So, a month ago, I found this guy, R, who was organizing a Discord server to play RPGs weekly. Cool dude, was tired of running complex games and preferred to be more laid back, using pre-made adventures and not worrying about much on creating a cohesive world. I respect that. World building can be fun, but it's a lot of work and can lead to GM burnout. We played for a month, had a blast, even though he ran pre-made adventures. He would be very flexible and indulge with whatever we came up with as long as it made sense and it didn't push past his final judgment. The game can be brutal, and we had a couple of newbies, so I took it upon myself that I wouldn't let them die. I began to play more tactical, asking questions, digging for details on everything that we could, or that could be dangerous or exploited for our own benefits. This was awesome for me, and the other players complimented me for being a good player. I was really excited about this game, and it had been the best experience I had playing a TTRPG so far. Okay, we had played 3 adventures. One about a minotaur, one about a haunted well, and we were halfway through the 3rd dungeon when I made a post on Reddit about how dungeons in a concept didn't make sense. Since I've been pondering about every detail, I started noticing that, who would have guessed, make-believe does not make sense. That minotaur was supposed to be starving like the rest of the maze denizens? I'm gonna go with it. The post was snarky and offhand, but it was for a
denizens.
bunch of nerds on Reddit. Snarky is the secret sauce. Then down came the comments like pouring rain. I sat in my room, read it on mobile browser, legs swirling around careless, replying to strangers and defending my point that when something doesn't make sense, it undermines player agency and makes the game less fun. Only in the next day, I noticed R had kicked me out of the game group and blocked me in Discord. I checked Reddit, and lo and behold, he had sent me some private messages at the time I was replying to comments. I had even replied to him something along the lines, I guess we disagree on our play styles, not recognizing his username. I tried explaining to him I wasn't complaining about him or how he runs his games, and that I had so much fun playing with him. I didn't understand why he had cut me off like that, but the critical damage had already been done. It literally
Oh
says,
my
but the
God.
damage, but critical is in parentheses. I fucking love that. It's a D&D joke. I fucking love it. Anyways, so now I'm a game orphan, and I lost the best game mates I've had. R, if you read this, I'm truly sorry. TLDR, I was kicked out of the best TTRPG game I've ever played because I unknowingly insulted the game master with a snarky Reddit post.
I mean, that's not even a him issue at that point. That's
Yeah,
the game master's issue. It's like,
they
you're
have
gonna
the right
have
to do
to take
that.
criticism. Exactly, like, you have to take criticism sometimes. You can't just kick people just because they have their own opinions and thoughts. Because that's kind of what he did.
I,
Tis why I don't question like GMs at all.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I'll mess around with Rosie when he says I only want like a snippet of your character story, not the entire fucking thing. Cause I'll be like, nah, I'm gonna write this entire fucking thing
Go
and you're
write
gonna
a
read it.
story.
But in reality, I'll still just put snippets. Cause I
Yeah.
respect his choices. I'm not gonna question how he wants to do things. He's letting me play. I'm gonna be like,
the only time
I'm
I
chilling.
think
As long as I get to be
questioning
silly goofy.
the only time you should question a DM is when I think like lines are crossed. Because I will say, unfortunately, in like my beginning days of D&D, I found like I knew of D&D, didn't know how to get into it, did it through Discord, obviously. It's actually how I met Swamp. We met on that campaign, and we have been best friends since. None of us talk to the DM anymore because for session 0 it was discussed of like the characters, the lore, the setting, but we also discussed, hey, what do you guys as players find maybe triggering that we should avoid story-wise, because obviously if it's an older era. And I simply told him I do not need graphic depictions of self-inflicted bothersome things or SA. Please, no, a campaign doesn't need that, regardless of what time frame. And he told us he was still going to
Yeah.
have that in there, and that it would just be a fade to black. And I was like, it doesn't need to be in there. That was the only time I ever questioned a DM, is when it's like blatant things like that you don't need in a game to make it a game. But if it's like their dungeon style of like, I don't know, you're in a fucking maze. Cope! Find your way out the maze! I don't know, man. Don't question the DM because he'll get your player killed sometimes. Don't only question it if you have like viable reasons to question.
Don't question Rosie. As soon as you question Rosie, he takes a fucking main character NPC and one taps your ass.
Shadow, you still have trauma from the owlbear.
That's what I'm talking about.
he questioned Rosie and he went after an owlbear.
We need to continue our campaign. I miss Duncan. I miss our little cobalt little buddy.
That is fair. I want him on our adventures. I'll have to talk to him and we'll get him back into rolling dice for us.
See, I can't really say much about this topic because I know nothing about D&D. I made jokes about it, like about Guy playing it, but now I'm sitting here like, do I want to try and play it? And how the hell do I get into it?
You
I
throw
know
yourself
a
into
lot
it.
of our friends have been. Yeah, you throw yourself into it. I know a lot of like. I know Darth wants to learn. Bon is learning. Fucking. you just kind of have to throw yourself into it. Watching other people do campaigns kind of gets you the feel for it,
Yeah.
so you understand kind of like how it works. And then once you kind of throw yourself into a campaign, it's so much better. It's awkward at first. I will say that it is very awkward at first, but once you start getting used to it, then it's less awkward, and then you make silly, goofy choices, and then you get one tapped.
Yeah.
Fucking owlbear in
I'll say
fucking
Listen,
one.
you had that coming because you tried to fight it, and you shouldn't have done that. We had it under control. But
No, okay, no. So I quite literally, I went to hide behind the fucking little shack thing, whatever that was there, because we were coming into the little square from this. I remember this vividly. We were coming into the square from this side of the screen. Everybody was here. I simply went to move from here across and hide there just in case, so that we could get a little bit of a spread on it. And what does he do? He has it go directly for me. I don't remember the roll that he got, but directly to me, just one tap. It's like, all right, now what do you guys want to do?
well, because I
It
want to
sounded
say
to
your
me like
stealth
you just
roll was
had-
awful, and he unfortunately rolled upwards. I
It
want to say it was
was.
a nat 20 for attack, and we were all level 1.
But I was
So you were incapacitated.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our barbarian war mech robot guy is like, I'm gonna tame it. And he simply did a How to Train Your Dragon move of putting his hand out, and the owlbear was like, I fuck with this guy. And the problem was solved, and you were incapacitated for all of it.
I was knocked the fuck out.
That's funny.
Don't question your DM unless you actually need to question the DM. You don't have to agree with all the choices, but unless there's something genuinely messed up, don't question it.
Will I kill you with an
Agreed.
owlbear?
Exactly, that owlbear will
Or
come
he
for
might
you.
Kill you with an owlbear.
And I think that was all of our stories that we managed to gather. We are going to be touching, I think, next week onto some Halloween-esque topics. I don't know what subreddit we want to dabble into. If you guys have ideas, you can leave those in the comments. Obviously, we are thinking of like r/let's not meet. There are paranormal encounters as a subreddit. It's kind of just all out in the open anyway, Halloween themed. Maybe we can find a really messy story about Halloween costumes. I don't know. But that's all we got this time. This was a simple, sweet one, not super messy, aside from the grapes and the anesthesia, and it might be messy still, but not nearly as much as our other ones. But if you guys liked it, then obviously
Oh my
we'll
God.
see you guys in episode 8. 8. We're going on to 8. Bye!
8. Wait.
Bye.